Welcome back to Essential Dialogues. Today we're diving into something really exciting. Ethiopia is kind of leapfrogging into the future of finance. They're rolling out this unified QR code payment system, and it's making waves. Just imagine like you're at a market in Addis Ababa,
Yeah.
and instead of fumbling for cash, you scan a QR code
hmm
to pay for anything,
hmm
from spices to souvenirs. It's really the vision Ethiopia is bringing to life.
Yeah, it's really fascinating because Ethiopia has traditionally been such a cash-based society, especially when you think about rural areas where access to banks is limited. But starting December 1st, 2024, all payment providers are going to have to use this new QR code standard.
Okay, so for our listeners who might not be super familiar with QR codes, could you break that down a little bit?
Absolutely. A QR code is basically like a barcode, but on steroids. It's that square image that you scan with your phone.
Mm-hmm.
And in this case, it holds all your payment information. So instead of needing like different apps for different banks or services, you'll just have one code that works everywhere.
That's incredible. So if I'm understanding this right, whether you're using a mobile banking app or your regular bank account, any QR code will be scannable. It's almost like a universal key to digital payments.
Precisely. And, think about what this means for small businesses. No more like expensive point of sale systems, just a simple printed QR code. And they can accept payments from anyone, anywhere. It's a total game changer for financial inclusion.
For sure. And what about security? I know some people can be a little hesitant to use digital payments because they're worried about fraud.
Oh, yeah, that's a valid concern. But with these QR code payments, everything is recorded and verifiable. So it really increases transparency and builds trust for both consumers and businesses. Like if there's ever a dispute, you have a digital record of the transaction. So it's actually probably more secure than handling cash.
Oh, wow. So it seems like this system is hitting a lot of key areas: accessibility, convenience, and security. What else is Ethiopia hoping to achieve with it?
Well, this shift also provides really valuable data to the government and to financial institutions. They can track economic activity, understand spending patterns, and really design targeted strategies for financial inclusion. Like imagine being able to identify communities that are underbanked and then tailoring like financial services to their specific needs.
That's amazing. It sounds like they're really thinking ahead and trying to build a system that benefits everyone.
Exactly. And this is important. There are challenges ahead. For this to work, we need reliable internet and mobile coverage. We're talking about a country where a lot of people still lack access to basic digital infrastructure.
That's a really good point. It's easy to get excited about new technology, but we can't forget about those practical considerations.
Right. And there's also the issue of education. A lot of people in Ethiopia are unfamiliar with digital payments. So for this to be successful, there needs to be clear information and training available. It's about making sure everyone feels comfortable and confident using this new technology.
So it's not just about the technology itself. It's about building an ecosystem that supports its adoption.
Exactly. And it's a massive undertaking. But if Ethiopia can pull this off, it could become a leader in financial technology in East Africa, maybe even a model for other countries facing similar challenges.
That's a great point. It's not just about Ethiopia. It's about the potential for this system to really empower people and drive economic growth in developing nations all over the world. It's an inspiring example of how technology can be used to create a more inclusive and equitable future.
It is. And for our listeners, it's a good reminder that innovation can come from anywhere. Keep an eye on Ethiopia. This is a story that's just beginning.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
really is. And, this whole initiative could have ripple effects
Yeah.
across different sectors.
Mm.
Think about the potential for microlending. With a more robust digital payment system, lenders can assess creditworthiness so much easier. And it opens up opportunities for people who were previously excluded from traditional financial services. That's something I actually hadn't considered, but it makes total sense. Like if you have a record of your transactions, you can start building a financial history, even if you've never even had a bank account.
Exactly. It's about creating a more inclusive financial system, one that doesn't leave anyone behind. And this actually ties into another important aspect, the formalization of Ethiopia's economy.
Right. A lot of economic activity in developing countries happens informally. Can you explain how this QR code system can help change that?
Absolutely. So imagine like a farmer selling their produce at a local market.
Mhm.
Traditionally, that would be done in cash, like off the books. But with digital payments, it's recorded.
Yeah.
So it brings that transaction into the formal economy, which means the government can track it, they can tax it, and ultimately use that revenue to invest in public services.
Wow. So it's not just about making payments easier. It's about building a stronger foundation for the entire economy.
Exactly. It's about transparency, accountability, and creating a more level playing field for everyone. But of course, there are concerns. Anytime you're talking about digital systems, privacy and data security are super important.
For sure, that's a crucial point. What steps is Ethiopia taking to make sure people's information is protected?
Well, the National Bank of Ethiopia has really emphasized the importance of robust cybersecurity measures. They're working on implementing regulations and standards to safeguard customer data and to prevent fraud. But it's an ongoing process for sure, and it's something that needs to be closely monitored as the system evolves.
Right. And what about people who don't have smartphones or internet access? How will they be able to participate in this new digital economy?
That's a valid concern, and it's something Ethiopia is definitely aware of. They're working on solutions like agent banking, where basically trained individuals in rural communities can facilitate digital transactions. For those who don't have direct access, think of it like a mobile banking kiosk.
Well, that's interesting. So it's about finding creative ways to bridge that digital divide and make sure everyone can benefit from this new technology.
Exactly. It's not about leaving anyone behind. It's about finding ways to bring everyone along on this journey towards a more inclusive and digital future. And that, to me, is what makes this initiative so exciting. It's ambitious, it's challenging, but it has the potential to really transform Ethiopia's economy and society.
It's inspiring to see a country taking such bold steps towards a digital future. It makes you wonder, what other challenges could we solve with this kind of innovative thinking?
It's a great question, and it's a good reminder that sometimes the most impactful solutions come from unexpected places.
Yeah, it really is a testament to the power of innovation. It's like they're building a whole new digital infrastructure from the ground up.
It is, and it's not just about payments. This infrastructure can support a whole ecosystem of digital services. Think about things like mobile banking or microinsurance, even government services delivered straight to people's phones.
Wow, so it's really about creating a digital ecosystem that can impact every aspect of people's lives.
Exactly. It's about using technology to really empower people, to give them more control over their finances, and to create opportunities that just didn't exist before.
It's really fascinating to think about the ripple effects, not just in Ethiopia, but in other developing nations as well. Could this become like a model for other countries looking to kind of skip over traditional financial systems?
It definitely has the potential. And the world is watching closely. If Ethiopia can show that this model is successful, it could really inspire other nations to adopt similar approaches. It's about showing what's possible when you combine innovative technology with a real commitment to financial inclusion.
It's like they're writing a new playbook for economic development in the digital age.
Exactly. And it's a playbook that other countries can learn from and adapt to their own circumstances.
So for our listeners who are maybe just hearing about this for the first time, what's the one key takeaway you want them to remember about Ethiopia's QR code revolution?
I think the key takeaway is that technology really has the power to drive real change. It's not just about, gadgets and apps. It's about using those tools to solve real problems and create a more equitable and inclusive future. And Ethiopia's journey is a really powerful example of that.
It's a story of innovation, ambition, and a belief that technology can be a force for good.
Absolutely. And it's a story that's just beginning.
Well, on that note, we'll be sure to keep our listeners updated on Ethiopia's progress. It's a story we'll be following closely here at Essential Dialogues. And for our listeners, we encourage you to learn more about this initiative and consider what a cashless society would mean. It's a conversation we all need to be a part of.
Absolutely. Stay curious, stay informed, and stay engaged.
And of course, if you enjoyed this deep dive into Ethiopia's QR code revolution, be sure to like, share, and subscribe to Essential Dialogues for more thought-provoking discussions. Thanks for listening.